My name is John Niketh, and I serve as the pastor of First Lutheran Church in Lynn, Massachusetts, and I was part of the liturgy working group for All Creation Sings. Our group really took its cue from the church-wide survey several years ago, which sought to identify specific areas where new language for prayer was needed, and to source those needs through existing worship resources, or through the composition of new material. One thing that came through loud and clear in that survey was a desire for the church to be able to provide more space for lament. Evangelical Lutheran Worship for the first time included a section of hymns under the theme of lament, and All Creation Sings builds on that in many ways, naming before God our cries for justice in society, for an end to systemic racism and prejudice, and for other very specific but often unspoken losses which are felt in our congregations. There was also a desire to lift up the urgency of our care for the earth and our stewardship of its resources. These themes show up in various ways through the collects, the shorter prayers that can be used by themselves or as part of the Sunday intercessions, but also in entire services of lament or contemplative prayer which are highly adaptable to local context and circumstance. Even in some of the more traditional categories of prayer, such as civic life and government, you will find prayers that acknowledge the brokenness in institutions that are meant to protect, such as breaches of trust, the epidemic of gun violence in this country, the rise in natural disasters as a result of climate change, and our call to live faithfully as citizens when following Jesus means challenging the status quo. The prayers and liturgies in All Creation Sings, just as with the new hymns, are refreshingly honest in naming the real and unique challenges we face as a church in this time and place, in plain but beautiful language. At the beginning of our work, our team did a deep dive into existing worship resources from across the whole Christian tradition. We reviewed these materials, and in cases where we determined new prayers were needed for a certain topic, we were invited to compose them. This new work was then evaluated by another group and underwent theological review before being included in the resource. If you just compare the prayers, thanksgivings, and laments section of All Creation Sings to existing Lutheran worship resources, you'll see very clearly the breadth of the human condition that has been given new voice in this resource. It was a joy and a privilege to be part of developing this new supplement. And with all the writers, I hope that these prayers are a blessing to your assembly's worship.